Welcome back to the channel. My name is Ben and you are watching Photos by Finch, and this is going to be a review of 2021 of my photography, and let's get into it. I'm really excited to share my top images, my top photographs that I've taken in this year. So grab a seat, grab a drink. I've personally gone for Glenmorangie single malt scotch from the Highlands of Scotland. Very nice, probably my favourite whiskey if I'm honest. And yeah, let's get into it. So the first photograph was taken at Horsenden Hill, and during the lockdowns, during all the craziness, it's a really important place. Locally, it's interesting. I don't know how many people know within the borough of Ealing or even further afield. I don't know how many people know about this place. It is amazing, and I went there with the Canon 90D and the Canon 70 to 300mm, the old glory days. Fantastic camera, the 90D. I just could not find a lens sharp enough. Just going to leave that there. Moving on. So this image I'm really a fan of. Obviously I'm biased. I took it, taken locally, taken on my doorstep pretty much. Horsenden Hill is about 2.5 miles from where I live. So yeah, pretty important, that one, just to kick things off. Now if you fast forward to June, I was staying with my mum, who you may remember me saying that she lives in Margate. Abby was there with me as well, and it was kind of like our only chance to kind of get out of London and get away. Flying abroad was just not an option. I don't remember where we were with restrictions, or it's just everything's just kind of blurred. I can't really remember, but I wouldn't have gone further than I should have. I'm going to leave that there. Like, I'm going to leave it to hang like the bad fart that it is, but I wouldn't have gone further afield if it wasn't allowed. So, we're in Margate, we're having our staycation, and the weather looked pretty decent. It looked pretty decent, so I thought, I've never been to Reculver Towers. I know it looks amazing. I've seen all the photographers in Kent take photographs of it. I've never done it. Let's have a go. So I head there for sunset, and it kind of all of a sudden went really pear-shaped. Low bank of cloud, as it always does, moved in at the last minute, and despite that, I think this image, which I'll put up on the screen now, I really like it. I think it's pretty decent. I completely buggered up the tide times. Completely buggered it up. The tide was well and truly out when I thought it would be in, so that's something else. But despite all that, yeah, I like the image. I quite like it. Do let me know what you think in the comments down below of the images that I'm showing you. Do let me know. Do interact and tell me your thoughts. Fast forward a week and 2 days. If I keep looking down, it's because I'm looking at my notes, because I have the memory span of a goldfish. There we go. And I don't think the whiskey's helping either, but whatever. So fast forward to June the 15th, and I had this yearning. I had this kind of like taste in my mouth for black and white, moody sort of photography, long exposures maybe. And I thought, Thames Barrier. I've never shot that before. Side note, when I was about 8 with the school, we had a school trip there, and I did a sketch of it. And Bully at the time thought it was hilarious and ripped it up. So I can't share it with you. But I thought it was bloody brilliant, so whatever. So I find myself walking along the River Thames with the aim of shooting the Thames Barrier. And like I say, I had this idea of sort of, long exposures, black and white, moody. Perhaps the sort of metal industrial tones of the Thames Barrier would work. It could really lend itself to long exposure, sort of minimalist even photography. Now, that, by the way, went pretty well. But before I even got there, I'm faced with this shipwreck, which I obviously didn't know was there, and 90% of people were just walking past. It was just the odd person that was like, oh, hang on a minute, what's going on there? And there is history to this boat. It's called the Royal Iris, and it fell into kind of disrepair, and it was sold, and then it was sold again, and then now it's just a shipwreck on the River Thames. But it was kind of like a party boat. I'm simplifying that greatly, but it was like a party sort of. I don't want to say cruise ship. It's not a cruise ship, but it had like events on it. The Beatles played there. I mean, it was just really, really amazing to find this. Sad in a way to find it as a shipwreck, or find it shipwrecked on the River Thames. It's kind of sad, but I thought I like this. I didn't expect it, but I like the look of this. So I set my tripod up and put the filters on, got everything ready, and this image, I like it because it was a complete surprise. And for how much longer is it going to be there? You don't know. You don't know how long it's going to be there for. It's already been there for, I think, since 1993. So however many years that is, I think that's almost 30 years. So it's already been there a while. But there we go. I quite like that image. I quite like it because it was a complete surprise to me, and I think I made it work, fairly well. So next location, 2 images from this location, Pitstone Windmill in Buckinghamshire, and I fancied kind of just going out, getting lost in nature. I got lost so much I forgot to even vlog. It just wasn't something in that moment on that day that I was interested in doing. I just didn't want to do it. I wanted to document the experience, so I kind of turned it into like a short film. But purely and simply, I just didn't feel like vlogging. It just didn't feel right. It didn't kind of go with how I was feeling at that time. So I just thought photography is the most important thing to me. So let's just get that done, really get our teeth into that. And the 2 images I'm going to share now, I think they're some of my best landscape photographs I've ever taken. So there's one with the drone and then one just tripod set up, looking straight at the windmill and just waiting, hoping for some colour in the sky. And there was some colour in that sky, which was really amazing because there was barely any cloud. But yeah, the colours are quite amazing. It's almost sort of pasteled on, the colours sort of with pastels. So yeah, really nice. And I'm really proud of that. So we move forward to my first experience on the Ridgeway, walking Britain's oldest road. You may remember that I did this sort of video where I said I'm going to challenge myself. I'm going to really push my legs. Just checking they're still there. Yeah, still there. And it was incredible. It was incredible. I was staying nearby in Tring. It's not the easiest place to get to. So to get to the start of the walk, I had to have a taxi. I don't drive a car. You may not give a shit about that, but I don't drive a car. So I had to have a taxi to start the walk at Ivinghoe Beacon. And when I got there, it was very much sort of like, well, whatever happens, this is where I have to start the walk. So photography is kind of on the back burner. It was windy, it was cold, and it looked like it was going to rain more than anything else. It didn't look like there was going to be a sunrise, or obviously there would be a sunrise, but it didn't look like it was going to be worthy of a photograph or any point even setting the camera up. But right at the last minute, we're talking sort of 20 minutes, 15 minutes before sunrise, the actual, time of sunrise, which is, I would say, last minute, there was this sort of purple sort of hue. And I was like, what the hell is going on there? Obviously, it's colours from the sun reflecting on the clouds. But I was like scrambling around to try and find the right composition. I was a bit of a headless chicken, if I'm honest with you. I don't mind saying that. I was a bit of a headless chicken. But in the end, I think I chose the best composition. So there was a shot which I took with the drone. So it's another drone photograph. And this was taken with the DJI Mini 2. We all know what happened to the DJI Mavic Mini. We don't need to go there again. We really don't. We don't need to go there again, please. Right, so moving on. So this photograph was taken with the DJI Mini 2, and I really like it. I mean, you've got this mist in the background. You've got a kind of a leading line to the photograph. Yeah, what can I say? I think it's well composed. I think it's a very nice photograph. What can I say? And that leads me very nicely to the next image, also taken on the Ridgeway, from, get ready for it, Scutchhammer Knob. Scutchhammer Knob. I think it's a translation, if you go back, it's Scotsman's Knob sometimes. I can imagine you find it very funny. I'm trying not to think about it too much because it is funny. If anyone knows the meaning behind, in geography, okay, in geography, the meaning behind the word knob, do let me know. I don't want anything else. I don't want it in any other context. I don't want to know, okay? I don't want to know. So this image that I took, it's the last image, I think, really that I took walking the Ridgeway, because that was the Goring-on-Thames to Wantage section. And I remember approaching this woodland, which from the outside didn't look like anything amazing. Obviously, I could see there's woodland there. I thought, we're in autumn, perhaps there's going to be a chance of a photograph. But I remember approaching this plantation. So Scutchhammer Knob is a barrow. It's an ancient barrow. But the woodland around it, or to one side of it, is this plantation. And I remember approaching it, and the light was hitting the trees from I think it was from the left. And I just thought, that's it. That's the photograph. That is it. I don't think I'm going to get a better photograph, and I didn't. I can say now that I've walked it and I've finished it, that section, I didn't get a better photograph. That was it, and I think it encapsulated autumn so well. Now, the reaction online when I shared this photograph just absolutely blows my mind. Now, sharing your photography and sharing your, self-promotion, self-promoting yourself, promoting yourself on Facebook, it's a bit of a hit and miss. It can be really bad. It can go really, really badly. What do you mean by that, Ben? You may ask. Well, what I mean by that is you will find these Facebook groups that say no self-promotion, and they'll treat you like the spawn of the devil or something just because you share a link to a video. You're not spamming the group. You just post it once, and you're treated like some, spawn of the devil. I'm going to stick with that. But this didn't happen on this occasion. So I shared this image with a link to the video, the relevant video. Irrelevant links also. Beware of posting irrelevant links on Facebook groups. Do be careful of doing that, or not doing that. Or do it and stir things up, and I'll be there to watch. So I shared this on, what's it called? Ancient Trackways of Britain, or something like that. And the reaction was just like, wow, mind blown. 360 likes. I mean, that may be nothing to some people, but for me, when I normally get sort of maybe 20, 30, maybe 40 likes, 360 likes, that is like, wow, that is amazing. Loads of comments, loads of really nice kind of feedback, and really nice almost conversations with people. So moving on, I posted exactly the same, literally copy and paste, same image, same link to the Goring-on-Thames to Wantage section of Walking the Ridgeway, part 4. And I posted this on a Facebook group for the Wantage and Grove community. And again, 113 likes, something like that. And so, okay, it's a slightly less, but, whatever. Still way more interaction than I'm used to. Some of the comments that on this post that really just blew my mind. I had someone saying they wanted to paint it. They were actually asking me, they were saying, I paint with pastels, can I paint a rendition of it? For me, that's like, wow. How many good photographers are there out there? You couldn't even count how many. You couldn't even begin to count how many there are. But you want to paint a photograph that I took. I mean, that means something to me. That definitely means something. I'm having people people are commenting saying, on this same post, they're commenting saying, I think the local Wanties museum would be interested, and that is going to happen because they do have a gallery exhibition space, so that will be happening. So there's someone that wants to paint it with pastels. There's people that are saying that I should do like a slideshow. I should do a slideshow and a talk. People would be really interested to see it and hear it, and I'm like, wow, that again beats any interaction that I've had on YouTube. I love the YouTube channel. I love it, but there is sometimes when, I don't want to put a negative spin on this video because, hopefully at some point throughout it, I've possibly made you laugh. But there is some times when you put all your effort, you put all your eggs into one basket to make like what you consider is your best ever content, your best video, and you look at it after a week, 30 views, 4 comments, 10 likes, and you're like, tumbleweeds. It's just a bit, it feels a bit redundant. I really don't want to put a negative spin on this video because, like I say, I hope I've made you laugh. Along with sharing my favourite images, I do hope that I've shared some comedy with you, made you laugh, made a tit of myself, perhaps, but made you laugh. So, moving forward into 2022, I don't know really what the channel is going to be. It may be that I take a step back and just post videos when I really have a perspective or a point or an opinion that I really want to share. Continuing walking the Ridgeway, walking Britain's oldest road, that is still going ahead. Nothing is going to change with that. Probably around the springtime, I'll be continuing that walk. But in terms of posting content every single week, I've tried it for the best part of a year, and it's kind of sucked the fun out of it. So it may be moving forward into next year that I just, take a step back, maybe every fortnight, maybe even once a month. When I have something that I'm really passionate about sharing, maybe only then I make a video. Follow me, Photos by Finch, on Instagram. I don't really post much on my kind of personal Facebook page, but do follow A View to Meet Facebook group. The idea was mine and Chris Sadler's, who's Chrisography Studios. Join that group, A View to Meet. Definitely join it. Anything goes really in that group. Absolutely anything goes. It doesn't really matter what your niche is, what your street photographer, portrait photographer, landscape photographer, wildlife photographer. It's all there. It's all there. Or just a filmmaker. We've got people that do urbex filmmaking, abandoned buildings, and literally anything. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. If it's your passion, if it's your niche, just share it. People will react, definitely. So that's it for 2021. I do want to thank everybody that has followed, liked, shared, commented, interacted with me. It does mean a lot, especially when you put a lot of effort into making the videos. It really does mean a lot. Not that I expect everyone to like every single thing I do, but that interaction, that conversation, it does mean a lot. So I do really appreciate it. And yeah, thank you very much, and I will see you next year. Cheers.